Hello, my dear students. I, Roxana Parveen, Senior Lecturer in Biology, Milestone College, welcome you to the class, today's online class from Chapter 6, Polymerization, Part 1. Before starting my lecture, I'd like to tell you something about the present pandemic issues, coronavirus issues, of course. And before starting or before initiating the catastrophe, we need to be careful, very careful, and follow the health rules. Eat more and more vitamin C, protein, zinc, potassium in rich food, and caffeine is also helpful, I guess, and follow the health rules. So let's get started. Today's topics are polymerization, types of fibers, properties of fibers, spinning processes. After finishing the lesson or completing the lesson, we will be able to know the polythene production process, different types of natural and artificial fibers and their properties, special qualities of cotton, wool, silk, nylon, and rayon fibers. So, we know what is polymerization. Polymerization means making polymer by adding many monomers, right? For example, polythene bags we use is a polymer of ethylene monomer. That means monomer means the unit form and polymer is the polyform, means many forms. So many monomers form the polymer. For example, PVC pipe, which are used in a sewage line or different instrumental or industrial use. PVC pipe is a polymer of vinyl chloride monomer, and there are more examples like bakelite, that means which are used in the electric switchboards, are made of phenol and formaldehyde monomers. And household melamine, means we use as kitchen utensils, are basically formed of melamine resin polymers, which are made of melamine and formaldehyde monomers. At the beginning, I mentioned several examples of polymer, some of which are available in nature, some are synthetic or called natural fibers, and you can produce artificial polymers too, like polythene. You can identify which are natural polymers. Yes, jute, silk, cotton, rubber, etc. are natural polymers because they are obtained from nature directly. Oppositely, melamine, resin, bakelite, PVC, polythene, plastics, etc. are available in nature, are not available in nature, and we need to make it in industrial process artificially. These are also called synthetic polymers, and they are specially used in many processes. However, how polythene production is done, you see, I've copied a page from your book. One monomer plus one monomer equals monomer means, that means two monomers are there within bracket 2, that is showing the isotop. If three monomers are joined together, monomer plus one equals monomer 3. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 monomer means complex trimonomer structures, which is called the polymer with isotope 3. If the polymer is produced from n number of monomers, we may mention the polymer n. So how polythene is made? You can get this question at your exam hall condition, and this is very common important for your board question exams or your regular terminal exams. How polythene is formed? When n number of ethylene, means many ethylene chains, ethylene is compressed under any pipe or any industrial machine with high temperature and pressure, that is about 200 degrees Celsius, and pressure is 1000 to 1200 atmospheric pressure. Along with the oxygen catalyst, polythene is produced. Or we can show the diagrammatic reaction like that. Ethylene, CH2, double bond CH2. N number means left side meaning numbers. And finally polymer means right side down, right? Bond, CH2 bond, CH2 one bond, bracket closed, N. However, this process is not popular nowadays because it requires many catalysts, pressure and accessories. Alternatively, recently titanium trichloride catalyst is used to produce polythene. How many types of fibers are there? Mainly there are two types of fibers, natural fibers and artificial fibers. Natural fibers are cotton, wool and silk, but artificial fibers are rayon, which are cellulosic. Another is nylon, non-cellulosic, means number 3 and 4 are artificial fibers. Okay, cotton fibers. Cotton fibers are formed from cotton plants. You see, these are, for the structures are called the cotton, and they are collected along with the seeds, and after separating by pressing some heavy materials over it, the seeds are separated, called ginning. You may have details at your book. Please learn them. What are the properties of cotton? Their fibers are naturally hollow. They are soft, cool, known as breathable fibers or absorbent. Cotton fibers can hold water up to 27 times their own weight. They are strong, dye absorbent, and can stand up against the abrasion wear in high temperature because it has a hollow space in between their curves of or twist of their fibers. In one word, cotton is comfortable in all seasons, especially summer. You may have the question that why cotton fiber is suitable for summer use. Well, here is the ultrastructure of cotton fiber. See, these are the ultrastructure, you mean longitudinal section, and these are transverse section. This is the transverse section, and the zoom in looks like this. This is the single most thread of cotton fiber having a lumen. Lumen means space inside the fiber. This one is the secondary wall, and the outermost is the primary wall. And it has 100 to 250 natural threads per inch in each fine long cotton fiber. And the fibers are actually separating from the fruits dried in the sun, resulting in the tubular fiber which shrinks gradually. So there are some disadvantages too, because the clothes made of cotton fiber shrinks gradually upon washing. Well, wool, where wools are collected from? Yes, from the sheep mostly and other long-haired mammals. However, sheep are mostly common source to collect the wool. To save us from cold, our first choice to wear sweaters, right? Or made of wools. Wool is thermally non-conductive. Non-conductive means it never allows the heat to go out from the body or to get in the body. It means thermal means both cold and heat. So it doesn't allow the cold temperature to enter or invade our body through this woolen clothes. That's why this is used widely for winter uses or winter seasons. Improved softness, better dimensional stability, stronger dye ability, dye means color, retaining ability are the notable characters. There are two types of wool. The wools collected from the live sheep are called fleece wool, and dead sheep are called the polled wool. There are some disadvantages too. Although they are inert to dilute acid, means the light acid and alkali, but concentrated acid and alkali might damage wool. So you should not wash your sweater in the normal detergent powder. You may use soft shampoo or similar product. Wool can be attacked by fungus easily and by the moths. What are the chemical properties? Wool is resistant to acid mainly, whereas cotton and cellulose are severely damaged if exposed to the acid. You may have the practical experience when you dry up your sweater and your cotton made cloth on the direct sunlight. You might have seen that your cotton clothes been damaged, or you may have exposed the acid on the cotton clothes. It may damage, but wool doesn't. This difference is utilized in carbonizing wool to remove excessive cellulosic impurities such as burr and vegetable matter. Wool is treated with a solution of sulfuric acid and is then baked to destroy the impurities with only minimal damage to wool. Right, the most beautiful fiber is known as silk. The silk could bring out with extremely luxurious feeling in you, right? If I'm not wrong, wool is the queen of all fibers. Why though? They are beautiful, luxurious, aristocratic, and they are the sign of prejudice, right? They are made from the cocoons. These are the cocoons, the shells, which are formed at the stage of the Bombyx mori, that means an insect, which are called the silkworm too or moth too. And these are the fibers, raw fibers. These are the clothes finally made by the spinning jenny. Let's have a look. How silk fiber is obtained. This natural, beautiful, stunning fiber is obtained from the special type of insect called the silkworm. These are the silkworm. After laying eggs, after certain time, they form, the moth is coming, from the worm, right? And this, egg is after a certain time called pupa, pupal stage, moth is formed or cocoon is formed. These are the cocoons. Inside the cocoon, after breaking the shell of this cocoon, we may have a very greedy structure of the stage of this insect, which is called pupa. If it is not broken or killed, they might have been emerged as the silkworm once again. However, let's have a look how silk is produced. These moths are collected before the emergence of the new insect or before coming out of the insect. They are boiled. Matured cocoons are boiled in the soap water. Why this is necessary? Because these cocoons are formed when they start spinning, this larva starts spinning the shell outside its body. They start like this, whirling and whirling, and this is kind of continuous and non-stop reeling process, right? We may have seen the normal yarn reel, right, for swing, right? Exactly the same. There's a continuous reeling or swing over there. After boiling, they stuck fibers get loosened up, and finally we may separate them. After dyeing silk or this, we may collect this by using the spinning jenny. There are a lot of spinning jennies are there, handmade or industrially used spinning jennies, which are faster than handmade jennies. That's how fiber is obtained. Right, the new topic started here, how cotton fiber turned into cotton yarn. right? That's a long process. I mentioned before that after collecting the cotton fiber, ginning is done by separating. Ginning is means the separating of the seeds from the fiber, and the bales are carried to the spinning mill, okay, which is opened in the large blending room. The fiber is then broken down into smaller fragments with a specially designed device. At this moment, trash and dirt are removed. Then cotton of the various grades are mixed together. Well, at this moment I want to say something that if we don't mix up different kinds of cottons, there are different varieties of cotton. Some are long, some are short, some are curved, and some are wavy, some are straight. What's the point of mixing them well? Mixing is important for our country's perspective because Bangladesh is economically very inconvenient to afford this best quality for all. So the cotton mixing with different fibers in the industry could bring out the average level of cotton yarn, which is affordable for all, of course. So practically it is possible to have constant supply of cottons of uniform quality all the time. So it is done. If mixing is not performed, yarn of uniform quality will not be produced at the time. Sometimes the quality will be too good, sometimes maybe too poor. Moreover, mixing lowers the production cost. The process of preparing the cotton mixture is known as blending and mixing. In case of jute fibers, this is called the batching. The batching is done, of course, naturally drying up on the sun and whirling for a bit, hanging to something like rope-like structures. That's called batching. However, the next step of spinning, before going to the next step, I would like to tell you that the question comes that explain the spinning process of cotton fiber. I would like to suggest you to write in this way, make some points. What is spinning and the introduction, and number one, how spinning is done. You may have 2 or 3 lines of sentences about the collection, like cotton, how it is collected, mention the ginning process, blah blah blah, and let's get started with the blending and mixing. Okay. Number 2, you should make point on carding and combing. Underline this. Carding and combing are the second step of spinning. This step is applicable to cotton, linen fiber, and wool. Based on the characters and length of fibers, the machineries used in this process vary. There is a normal or generalized industries showing here, and that is copied from your book, figure number 6.03, yarn manufacturing and spinning mill. Here you see there's a roller and a twister or roller, and finally these reels are formed from each roll, and here is the twister found here, right? And in this industry, lot of devices are there, but just one thing is focusing here for reeling process only. However, why this is important? Here, very small fibers are not suitable for yarn manufacturing and they are discarded. Soil particles and darts are also removed. Some cases only carding works well. However, for very fine, smooth and narrow yarn, combing is essential. For linen fiber, special combing technique is called hackling. Hackling makes yarn fine, delicate and flexible. The fiber obtained after carding is like thin layer and is known as a sliver. When sliver is twisted, yarn is produced. Based on the twisting or by the twisting machine or twister, so the fiber's quality varies. Okay, what are the objectives of carding? There are some notes you may follow. Carding machine opens the forks of fibers to individual fiber stage, removal of impurities, and to remove the naps and short fibers from the cotton. Right, rayon fibers. Do we always buy the pure cotton, pure silk, or linen, or wool? Of course not. Sometimes some artificial fibers are very convenient in the market and they are very friendly for our daily use. However, cellulosic fibers are rayon fibers which are useful for lace production. They are formed of mixed of natural fibers, different types of fibers. That's why they are called cellulosic fibers. Properties of rayons. Have a look. You may pause the video here. Okay, nylon fibers. Nylons are the non-cellulosic artificial fiber. They are formed by industrial process, by compression of the different types of gases and materials, and synthetically these fibers are produced. You may produce the sort of materials like that, sacks, cricket, or the carpets made of, which are used in the cricket field, different clothes to form the parachutes or other decorative items, and ropes too. They have a lot of usage, but never try to wear these clothes. Okay, they're not comfortable at all. These are the homeworks, and do the homeworks properly. Okay, students, stay safe.